Let's see who they want. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Let's see. Let's see who they want. Let's see. Let's see who they want.
It's time to see who they want. I'ma kick back and roll me a blunt with the culture. We know it's trending, it's over. I can't respect your feelings. I touch your shoulder, fuck your feelings. We the culture, we know who they want. Who they want, we know who they want. Who they want.
Podcast disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on Live with DJ Steady and Company are those of the host and guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policies or positions of any affiliated organizations or sponsors. This podcast contains real conversations, unfiltered language, and personal opinions. Listeners' discretion is advised. Content is intended for entertainment, education, and inspiration purposes only, and should not be considered professional advice. For guidance specific to your situation, please consult a qualified professional. By listening to this podcast, you agree that host and guests are not liable for any decisions made based on the content shared. Thank you and enjoy the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your favorite podcast show. You know that podcast that still does everything that they don't do, including name change in the middle of a season. Yeah, we do that here. You know what I'm saying? This is Live with DJ Steady and Company, and you know me, I am your host, Mr. Who They Want, Mr. DJ Steady, because I'm always one step ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying? My favorite motto, standing on the right, leaning on the left. And I'm joined today by y'all know him when we was running the Who They Want brand for the past 3 years, Mr. A for Abel, because he always keeping his next podcast on the brain. You know what I'm saying? We joined by my man Kyle E in the building. And we got a special guest, a special episode. I don't really step out of my comfort zone unless I'm really just trying to engage with my people. So why not get such a you know what I'm saying? We grew up in the same backyard because you know what I'm saying, it was one step over the bush in between. But you know, she's my
Yeah.
cousin. But the way we grew up, she's like my big sister. You know what I'm saying? She's been in
Absolutely.
she's been very engaging, very motivational, you know what I'm saying, with the slogan, it's just work. You know what
It's
I'm
just
saying?
work.
That vitamin fitness, putting in the work. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the legendary Coach Q.
Oh man. Hey, that's an introduction right there, man. The legendary.
Where's the
I like that.
applause at, man? Where you got your soundboard, man? What's going on?
Way my audio setup right now, soundboard is not connected.
I hear you.
You did.
How's everybody been?
Feeling good,
Thank
feeling
you.
great.
Yeah, can't complain. It's been one of them days where it started off kind of rocky, but then smooth through. Like, this week was kind of hectic, during inspections and just one thing to another. But I took time for some steady self care. You know what I'm saying? Had to get the locks back refreshed, but I'm
Mhm.
rejuvenated.
Excellent, excellent. Oh, we got
Oh,
this.
is that on me? Y'all wanna know how I'm doing? No.
Oh, right. Of course, Coach Q.
um,
How are you?
no, I'm doing great. I'm enjoying these summer days. I'm a teacher, so there's only so many of them left, but not trying to about it too much. And yeah, and just got done exercising actually. I was trying to knock it out before the podcast started, so I was glad to get that in because afterwards, I don't think it's gonna happen. So,
Right.
Mm.
It'd be those moments where you got to go while the momentum is up high.
yep,
I salute
yep.
that.
That's
'Cause
why I was like
even for me,
5 minutes to 8 logging on. I'm like, I gotta get this, 5 more curls. Like, let's do it.
man, I had to go outside today and take me a lap around my complex because I was like, that body gets stiff. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stay
Hmm.
active because certain days I just be you fight. As a person with a disability and joint pain is something Kyle, I'm sure you
Mm,
can relate to. We gotta try to
Mm.
keep some sort of regimen in daily to just make sure that this back don't lock up and these joints don't, wear and tear
Hey,
out.
absolutely, absolutely. You got
Facts.
to keep moving to keep moving. So,
Yep, yep. I've been going to physical therapy twice a week, um, for just not even. I don't even think it's been a full. I don't even think it's been a full month yet. But you know, I feel honestly, I'm feeling good already. You know, every therapist. Here's what I love about going to physical therapy. At least the place that I'm at, pretty much every therapist that I've worked with is on the same page. So if someone is not in that day and we did a particular exercise for like that, for that one thing, or we're working on like one particular part of the body or doing a certain type of regimen, then everybody is aware of what we did of what we did previously. So if I am on someone else's schedule, they ask questions like, okay, so you worked with Sue last week and you guys did this. Did you try this yet? And I'll be like,
mhm.
yes or no. So everybody knows where their where their patients are and what their progress is like. So
That's
I love that.
excellent.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's incredible. On that journey of physical therapy, like, I try to be more transparent about who I am and the things I deal with, and which is so important to this episode because during my time of recovery after the amputation process, used to drop these daily motivational videos, where she get on not super, super long, but she either gonna give you, some tips of the trade or what you need to do to stay fit within that moment. Always make sure you keep you some H2O by your side, of course, you know.
Hey, cheers.
Whoa, whoa, ladies and gentlemen, she got a custom cup. That's how you know you're doing something big when you got a name on a cup. But I love
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in case y'all didn't know, quick little side note here. She just recently been inducted into the FAMU Rattlers Athletic Hall of Fame. The number 20 has been solidified in FAMU
Hey,
athletics. Big ups for that.
hey, appreciate it, cuz. Appreciate it.
You dig? So why don't
How's
you,
how's
tell.
that feel?
Oh man, that feels it feels great. It's an incredible honor. I'm like humbled by it. Excited, and I mean it's always good to like be acknowledged for your work and for working hard and your effort. So I felt like I was going hard out there. So
Right.
it's nice to see that some people agree, and just to be able to represent the university and my hometown in that way is pretty cool.
Oh
Excellent.
yeah. For us, she was before there was Steph Curry, she was the first Curry.
Hey,
If you know, you know.
you feel it? For real though.
Nice.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about your journey, like, from what made you get into fitness altogether to becoming a teacher and a little bit of things, explain to our audiences that don't know who the coach is.
Okay, okay. Well, let me see. Try to give you the Cliff Notes version of Coach Q. Obviously, like I said, well, from Quincy, Florida, first of all, and we grew up together. And so that was always just a nice time. And I remember just thinking about like that time, just being outside, like that's different. Like kids don't play outside like we used to. But I think and just answering the question, even thinking about like the way we grew up and weren't sitting down, weren't sitting in front of video games all the
No.
time and doing stuff. We was somewhere rolling around the grass or doing something. And I think that definitely played into it. But I've always played basketball since I was like 4 or 5 years old. So from there until I graduated from college, it was like a very serious, very competitive thing. Really, especially from about middle school. I got like
Yeah.
pretty serious about it. So it was like year round then. It was during the season. Then I had a summer team, then regular. So always just playing. And it was when I finished playing basketball at FAMU, I kind of stopped. I was like, oh, I don't have to get up for practice anymore. I don't have to do a 5 a.m. workout. So I just like took a break from like working out and all that mandatory stuff. And like I was on my first job and I started like gaining weight and like kind of feeling it a little bit. And I was like, oh, like basketball, I had been playing my whole life. I never had to think about fitness so much. So
Mm.
that's when it really like like the switch kind of flipped, and I started
Right.
thinking about fitness in terms of, okay, just staying in shape and just trying to be healthier and stuff like that, because it had kind of just been built in. So like I said, it wasn't conscious, but when I worked my first job, I started I started getting into fitness and started training. I did a training internship when I was in school at FAMU. So I learned like the basics of personal training, and I worked at the gym. So I had that exposure, but I still wasn't really thinking about fitness because it was a job, for me when I was in college. And I was like, well, obviously I like working out and I like stuff like physical stuff. So I thought it would be a good match for me. And it turned out it really was. And so when I got to that first job and I realized I needed to work out, it was other people at work that started to come work out with me. Like after work, we would do like a 30-minute, 40-minute workout. And so even when I left that job and I became a teacher, after a while, it was a group of teachers, after work, we'll be, doing a little workout before we go home. And it just kind of became something that I realized was not just, trying to look good, but actually want to feel good in your body. And I'm good at like coaching and motivating people. So I started, doing more groups and started it as a business. Like, hey, of course, you want to make money doing something you love. And so I've been, Coach Q as far as a trainer since about 2016. And I've just been trying to grow my business and really find my way and my passion and what it is that I care about. And I, realize that, as a teacher and a trainer, that's what I like to teach people, how to incorporate fitness into their life in a way that works for them. So that's kind of how everything came together. So I like teaching fitness and helping people like get a better relationship with their fitness, improving your self-love life is what I call it. And make it something that you don't want to run away from. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm like, how can I help you fall in love with fitness? Because I can show you an exercise, but if you don't want to do it, then it don't matter how to do the jumping jack, So to try to kind of get in here is a little bit more where I'm at these days.
Excellent.
Nice.
I love that.
What would you say is like, because you've already.
Hold on, we lost your audio. Right.
Hold on.
Right. Take a moment. Well, quick segue before we come back to his question. I just wanted to say, being that we grew up in Quincy, Florida, born and raised, and you get to see how much it has transitioned, from that 90s era into now where we're at in 2025, just to be positive in that city now. I feel like it now because, there's so much darkness, so much dark clouds now. It ain't the same. Neighborhoods ain't the same. Well, we all grew up in one community, each one reach one. That old saying, well, the whole neighborhood had, if you got in trouble, everybody, mama on the block had permission to, deal with
Get you together.
Yeah. And now you look at it now, it's just, I salute people like you that still come back and, what I'm saying, do something right for the community. And, what people may not know is you had that run where you was trying to run for the tax property appraiser?
The tax collector. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It take a lot to still try to show love to your hometown.
Want to give up some time on it, like, I don't know, guys. No. But yeah, I mean, I love Quincy. So, whatever I can do to have a positive influence in the community, I'm gonna do that. I'm figuring out which way that is and what that is that I need to do in which lane. But while I'm around, because I'll take off. I'll move to another city now. So
yes, you will.
While I'm home, I'm trying to help out.
Absolutely. All right. Okay.
Like
got it. Let's go.
Yep. 1, 2.
Every time you go for it, it's kind of tapping out. You got to tweak your audio, bro.
Seriously? Oh man. It was cool a second ago.
Okay, wait. You might can ask it now. Let's go for it without losing too much of our audience.
Okay. All right, mic check 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. Okay. All right. I don't know what that was. I apologize. Sheesh. But it sounds like what y'all were talking about earlier was the village mentality. Like, how they say it takes a village. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely.
A lot. I feel like across the board we have lost that. I feel like not even just where you guys are from, even where I'm from, it's just, it's the same thing. Like, we we used to go outside, run around, and everything. We don't do that anymore thanks to devices. And while I like the convenience of like being able to say watch TV wherever I want, or hang out and talk to my friends just with the click of a button, I was never the type to really go outside like that unless I was made to, or unless I had that energy from like from friends or family, like, hey, come on and play basketball, or come out and run, come out and run around. I was always afraid of falling, you know, but but I
Yeah,
was always
that's
I was always I was always afraid of falling. I was the
what we
kid with the
say.
limp, so I was always afraid of falling
Hmm.
down, or
Hmm.
but I did have a want to gain more gain more strength and more muscle, especially when I hit puberty. But um but I think as I got a little older, I kind of lost that because now I'm living on my own and I don't go out much, unless I absolutely have to. Do you have any tips for an introverted person?
Oh, yeah. So you saying like where you rather maybe do your workouts kind of alone or like in the house,
I
something like
Yeah, like my thing is like I'm in physical therapy right now.
that?
And that's
Hmm.
great. I'm motivated right now because I got people that are helping to motivate me. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
once that's done,
Hmm.
right? It's really easy for me to get back into the habit of just sitting on the couch. So
Hmm.
what, so best at
So I think I lost the last part, but I know you were asking what would I suggest, I guess for it being introverted. But the first thing is I'm gonna say, remember your why, because it starts here. And so when you're on the couch and you're just sitting there, like you gotta think about like, and you don't want to get up and do your workout, you gotta remember your why. Like what are you trying to do? It's about probably improving your quality of life, getting moving around the best way you can. Like you say, you want to build some strength and do what you can to help your mobility. So first you got to remember your why. But if you're a person and you feel like, hey, I need somebody that, like I said, when I'm in the gym, when I'm at therapy, like I'm getting that motivation, you might want to look into getting an online trainer, somebody that you can tap in, just like we on StreamYard, and y'all can see each other and they can say, hey, Kyle, that was not a good rep, man. I need you to do another one, like, or just, a way to push you. So it's really trying some different things and tapping in, but it's all about your why. Like if you're sitting there and you don't want to do it and nothing's motivating you, you don't have a strong enough reason, then I mean, hey, you're not gonna want to do it. So you need to put it on your wall somewhere too. Like, hey, I'm trying to get to 20 reps by, in 2 weeks or whatever, like whatever physical goal it is, write it
Mhm.
down, put it somewhere you can see it, and then, and tap in from there. Make sure you have what you need at home to actually do the workouts. Like, especially like I said, if you're not going out in a place, but I have some resistance bands at home. I have, medicine balls. Like we all, I call it like gifts. Like, if you're familiar with love languages and,
Yes.
there's 5 of them, and one of them is gifts, but that applies to your fitness life. Make sure you have stuff that you can use at home. Make sure you have clothes that are comfortable or whatever, that feel good to wear when you work out. Make sure, if you want to match, like that's my thing. I like my shoes to match my shirt, and then somehow I just work out better. So when I get a
Mm.
chance, I get myself a new workout set or whatever. And it's not, it's not something every day, not to splurge on, but I like to make sure I have what I need at home. I got a bike at home, so that way I don't have to depend on going anywhere or, needing anything or anybody else. I have all of the gifts, the tools that I need. So make sure you get your tools, because we be buying a bunch of junk, but then we won't buy nothing that help us out for real.
Guilty of that indeed. That was a great
Me too.
question, Kyle. Like my one thing I deal with is for me, I think is when I'm trying to get into my conditioned mode, is I procrastinate a lot. Like I'll
Mhm.
set it out there. This is what I'm gonna do. Okay, Wednesday I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do, 2 laps around my complex, and then I'm gonna go get the water and whatever. And then I fall out of it. The next day
Mhm.
is, I don't want to move today. It's just I don't know. It's like for somebody like me who needs to primarily stay active and who needs to actively wear the prosthesis, it can be
Mhm.
very challenging to stay motivated. So, like, how
Mm-hmm.
do you get in a good mental space to want to stay motivated without all the pressures of everything physically around you?
Um, so like I said, it's about your self-love life. It's a relationship, but this is a relationship with yourself. But I want to encourage you to treat it like you would a relationship with somebody else. So for
Mm.
example, you set a date, right? You say, hey, Wednesday night we're going out to eat. I'll meet you here at 7. And then you get there and you arrive at 7, but the person isn't there. You got something to say about it. You're gonna talk some junk, you're gonna call your friend, homeboy, like, can you believe Shawty done stood me up or whatever? Like, that's trash
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's the same thing towards yourself. When you say Wednesday, I'm gonna go and work out, but then when you miss it, you don't be talking no junk. You don't say, and I ain't saying beat yourself up, but I want that same mental, hey man, because that's what your body's saying, man. Stephen stood me up today. That's trash. And it's like, why would you, put more effort into meeting up with somebody else and not as much effort into meeting up with yourself? So
Absolutely.
that's like my mentality. Like, it's really a relationship. And if you wouldn't want anybody to stand you up, that's exactly how your body feels. Your body does not want to be stood up by you. Every night, it's okay. It's gonna be Wednesday morning. We're gonna do it. Then Wednesday morning come, let down. But your body gonna show up for the next day and the next day. It's always gonna show up. But are you gonna show up? And so I put it
Mm.
in my mind in that way. When I start like thinking about it, this is a date that I, don't wanna miss. That's kind of like the mental shift, for me.
Yes.
And again, like I said, remembering why. And sometimes I have to do it first. When I get up, just go ahead and put the outfit on. Go ahead and just go to the bicycle, like whatever. Try to make it maybe the first thing that you do, and just more like knock it out. I think that's sometimes helpful too. Don't give yourself too much time to ponder. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go at this time. Nope, just get dressed, just go, whatever time that is, and that way you don't leave so much room for negotiation.
Absolutely. No, I needed to hear those words because it's been a battle, right? And I just want to thank my village of people that's always support me on whatever I'm trying to do because they're gonna make sure that I stay persistent at doing something, outside podcast land. And one of my closest friends always try to come get me and challenge me to, be more physical and more independent. And sometimes I am guilty of, I ain't gonna say sometimes, most of the time I'm beating myself up. You know what I'm saying? Like just doing a regular
And then
routine is taking a few steps and then you might slip and fall. And then I feel
Mhm.
like the whole world has just ended in that one
Mm.
slip and fall.
Mhm.
So that's something I struggle with, but then I be done envision it, right? Okay, I'm gonna put this on, I'm gonna take this 2 steps, go up this 3 steps, no problem. But
Mm.
somewhere I lose my lack of focus comes in if I get too easily distracted because I'm a goofball, right? So
Mhm.
in the midst of me trying to do something serious, I might think about a movie clip at the wrong time when I'm
Mhm.
supposed to be focused on. You just said you got to go these 3 steps. You got
Mhm.
to lead with. For me, it's leading with my physical right leg and then bring the
Mhm.
mechanical left leg up.
Mhm.
So my frustration gets my unstableness with that, listeners, is just like that consistency of like, okay, you gotta stay focused. Not so much as drill sergeant focused, but just
Mhm.
like you said, remembering that why. I think now that you just gave that jewel, I can keep that in my mind now. Why are you doing this?
Mhm.
Why are what's your why to get to the know-how? And I
Yep.
really just thank you for that.
Yeah. Remember that why, man. Kyle speaking.
Yeah. I made jokes about your mic earlier, but your mic don't like you right now.
I think that's messed. That's probably what happened. You done made jokes about the mic. Now the mic don't want to come on the show. It's like who they want on the road on me, man.
Come on. It a time this should be you be with the technical issues. This is Kyle E.
this is not the first time. There we go. Hello?
Okay, we got you.
Gotcha,
Come
Kyle.
on, talk to us. Give the people what they want.
And it just had to switch things up. Okay. All right. So getting back on track here. Okay. So what would you say is like your favorite workout routine or exercise? When I was younger, I used to love just to hit the free weights. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
loved hitting the free weights. I used to do like push-ups in random places just because I had the energy to do it.
Yeah.
That,
Just drop and give me 50. Just
that was it. That's I think the most I could do at one point was like 50 or 60, and that I think that's where I pretty much stopped because I would just focus more on the upper body when my lower body needed the most work. So what did you say? What would you say is your favorite workout or routine?
Let's see. My favorite routine. This is my go-to. Anytime I'm off track or like if I hold on, if I don't want to work out or don't want to think about it, it's always push-ups, squats, and then an ab exercise. So, and that can be push-ups against the wall, standing up, on your knee, whatever variation of push-ups, because that's gonna give me a good upper body workout. That's primarily your chest, but your biceps are helping, so it's a good challenging upper body. And then squats, of course, is a good lower body exercise with getting your hamstrings, your thighs, your glutes involved in that. So I got a good lower body, and then I can do abs just standing up. You can do standing crunches or get on the ground, and I don't need any equipment to do any of that, and I can do it anywhere. And I usually also plug in jump rope with that, but with no rope. You just turn your arms, kind of go through the motions of jumping. So that's my favorite routine because I don't need any equipment. I can do it anywhere, and they're all good challenging exercises, push-ups and squats for sure. I mean, if I don't even without weight, just doing body weight and getting up to a good number. So that's the routine that I like to go to. And my favorite exercise lately is probably deadlifts. We work your hamstrings. There's some called like Romanian deadlifts or stiff leg deadlifts, and you just you're bending straight down and getting that hamstring work. So I really like that because I feel like when I do it consistently enough, I start to feel it like, okay, my hamstring's getting stronger. I start feeling like a track star. Like, so that's always the goal, to make people think I run track. It's like my favorite question. Like, you look like you run track, like I haven't run in a decade, but thank you. So so that routine, and I like it. Like I say, maybe and that's something for you to think about. And DJ Steady, pick 3 exercises. You notice I just said 3, maybe 4 with the jump rope, but whatever, your cardio move is, but pick 3 or 4 things that you can do and that you can do anywhere. Or like I said, keep a resistance band on. You can do that anywhere. And that way you don't even have to think about like, I don't feel like working out today. I don't want to make something up. Just do your go-to. And working out is one of the only things that you can do after not wanting to do it, after not feeling like it, and actually be like happy that you did it. You're not going to be upset. Like, you know what? I want to work out and I shouldn't have worked out. Like, what a stupid choice I made. Like you'll never feel like that. Now it's some other stuff that you don't want to do and you do it anyway. Like, what if somebody asks you to go somewhere or, or just different stuff that we say yes to that we don't want to do. And then we just end up mad. But working out is something that you can say yes to even when you don't want to do it, but you're always going to have a positive outcome. You're not going to be upset about it. Your mood is going to be better. Like, everything's going to be better after that. So I encourage you to push past that. Don't want to, don't feel like it, because you literally won't be upset by it. It's gonna you're going to be so happy that you did, unless you like broke your foot or something. Like, I'm not sure why, what
even with that, there's still arm workouts. There should be no excuse. I feel like it, because then there's other ways to maximize it. Even with a handicap.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's always something. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you
I
gotta
tell a guy,
find. I feel you.
bro.
Ain't no excuse. It's just work. It's just work. You just gotta figure out what your work is.
I'm mad at myself for not even thinking about the rotation of jump ropes and not just doing the jump, because I can't do like, I don't have the coordination for jump rope. Never did. My mother and my aunt, they go to double dutch on a regular basis.
Oh, really? That's cool.
There's a woman over 40 program for jump rope and double dutch and hula hoop and stuff like that. So they've been doing that. My aunt is a gym rat. She goes to the gym anyway. And my mom does not like the gym. She'd rather do other types of workouts. Like her and I used to do hot yoga. Right?
Okay. Oh, that's nice.
We did hot yoga for a hot minute, and that was probably because I have to try and keep myself loose, that was the best for me. Like they had the heat up to like 70 some degrees on a regular base, on a regular basis. We would do these stretches, and by the end of it, especially when you hit that shower and you know that you had a full-fledged, you feel nice and stretched out afterwards, right? And then we had to stop because it started getting a little, because it was like a half an hour out the way. We had to go out of town to do it, right? And that started getting, that started getting hard. Even though we both loved it, plus it was bonding. It was something that we bonded over. But we ended up having to stop. And then for a while, I did Tai Chi at my local YMCA. And that helps a lot with my balance and my nerves, because that's something I deal with, regularly. And I know I've been repeating myself, but yeah, at some point I stopped myself because there was some drama on the block that the YMCA was on. So,
oh no, not safe.
Oh, something crazy happened, and then my mom was like, "Look, be careful," because I was taking the bus there and back, right? And the street we were on, it's a big street, so like anything happened, right? But at one point there was a shooting, and I was like, I know it didn't happen exactly there, but I didn't feel 100% safe anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I feel you on that.
It's been 2 years since then. So
okay. Hey, turn the heat up at home. Start doing some yoga in that living room.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna try and start up again, because the older I get, the more it's. And I'm only 38, but I know that sometimes the older you get, the more you kind of set your routine is set. Right? Like I used to get up in the morning just to have something to do. So I would do like sit-ups on the couch. I'd use the couch to spot me, right?
Okay.
And because it's kind of hard for me to it's kind of hard for me to to get up and stuff on my own, thanks to my lower body. So but after a while I stopped doing it. So I'm gonna try to incorporate something into regular routine before my physical therapy is done.
Good. Yeah, that's the goal, bit by bit. And I was gonna remind y'all too, like there's no nothing. It's not too little. Like if you only do 5 minutes, that you did 5 minutes, because 5 is more than 0. 0, nothing is nothing, right? But if you got 5 minutes, do the 5 minutes that you could do. And that's going to count. Your body will thank you for it. And, next time it'll be 7, it'll be 10, you'll be doing, so even if it's a little bit, go get that little bit.
I appreciate that too, because I feel like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to go hard or go home.
Right.
Like when I was a kid and I first started working out, the only thing I was thinking of was, number one, I wanted to be big like the dudes I would see in the movies, right? Because I'm short. I got teased a lot, so I had to do something. You know what I mean? So that was my whole thing. So, but I didn't know how to stretch beforehand. I didn't warm myself up. I just went and did it. And next thing you know, I ended up as stiff as the Tin Man,
Yeah,
man.
I didn't know how to warm up properly,
Yeah.
For me,
so what's a proper? I'm sorry.
I'm saying, like, for me, it was just something I dealt with. As I got older, I think I got stuck in that way of, that old saying, "I'm grown, you can't tell me what to do." So what usually would be like a routine of physical therapy, riding a bike or something like that, became, well, I walk up and down the road. At that time when I was really out there, I could pretty much walk my whole city. I literally did it, and that's probably why my muscles and stuff is jacked up the way they is now. Because nobody wants to be in their 30s and you got arthritis in your knees and your mobility is way more limited in that situation.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, back to your question, Kyle.
I was just gonna ask her like, what is a proper warm up for you before starting
Well,
work?
I consider it something. Obviously, a light intensity, light to maybe moderate, but warm up with some. I like to warm up like with some cardio, whether that's just by walking first, or
Mhm.
like if you're seated, even just rolling your legs like you're riding a bicycle, but try to get some
Yes.
movement in to just kind of get the heart rate up a little bit. And then a good warm up is to just do the exercises that you plan on doing, but
Mhm.
literally if you're going to do them at a level 10, you're going to warm up at a 1 and without weight. So I know if I'm going to do some shoulder presses in my workout, a good
Mhm.
warm up would be to, with no weight, just do a couple of shoulder presses to actually warm up that movement. A lot of times, and I do different warm ups. I'll ride the bike and then, kind of do some stretching a little bit, stretching with movement. But also we kind of forget, like, you can actually just warm up with the exercise you're going to be doing, but just at about a quarter of the speed without any weights or anything. Even if you don't add weights and you start going full out, but that helps your body too. Like before you start, okay, I'm going to do 30 curls with 10 pounds. Just warm up
Mhm.
and do a few curls. Just take your body through that movement so it gets like prepared for that range of motion that you're about to take it through with the rates and with a little bit more time or resistance on it. So I would say that, but whatever you can do to move to start getting your heart rate up. If you just what I'm saying, if you flail, you dance,
Yep.
ride the bike, pedal your feet, kick your feet, whatever your thing is, jumping jacks, you can do it seated, you can modify these things, but get the heart rate up and then actually take
Mhm.
yourself through the movements that you would like to engage in your workout. And so that your body's, getting tuned up for that.
Huh.
Definitely
I
in the
gotcha.
market for doing more upper body workouts for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I have been slacking off. I've got back into the wrong eating habits again, and I'm trying
You
to
must
make
be a
that.
human.
I'm trying to make more self commitments of okay, Stead. You can't pick up so much weight without risking injury to your prosthesis areas and things like that. So
Mhm.
now I'm finna, put myself back on this regimen of like doing green teas is something I like doing. I'm kind of a protein guy, I'll cut back. Like I can single handedly lose weight when I desire to lose weight. I think I want to get
Mhm.
back in that mode again because I feel
Mhm.
better when every time I move, I don't feel so heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, I
Like
know what you're
I
saying.
don't like sluggishness because
Mhm.
sometimes I do deal with insomnia. Like I do
Mhm.
have issues of insomnia too. So most of
Mhm.
the time I'm up half the night, which makes me more sluggish and tiresome during the day.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for that? Like to still just keep a repetitive moment going?
Oh, like, well, you say any advice for like just trying to get through the day if you're sluggish?
Mhm.
Yeah, you know me. You be like, Steady say he got a
Yeah.
podcast at 7, so I
Yeah.
got hours through the day. Well, I might just want to go ahead and get me a Big Mac and nap for the rest of the day. I'm just
Right.
saying, I'm trying to break it.
I feel you. So one of the things that works for me, and this is when I'm most successful with like, especially when it comes to eating and trying to put better fuel in your body. Because like you said, sometimes we get off get off the right track and start eating the wrong things. Already going to contribute to the sluggishness or the lack of energy that you feel. Right. So we got to make those choices. But my thing is, I
Mhm.
try to go ahead and at least choose my food for tomorrow. I have a lunchbox. I would get up and get it if I knew where it was right now, because I'm done eating for today. But I put
Mhm.
everything in there that I'm gonna eat. Even if I'm gonna be at home, like I'll, okay, sit the stuff to a certain section, maybe of the fridge, or like if I leave home, I'll leave with my lunchbox and it already has, what I'm gonna eat. And so that keep me from one, like I can pull up on to KFC or whatever and get some junk or whatever. But if that's not what I planned on eating, it's not in my lunchbox, and I don't do that. And I know it can get overwhelming. Okay, I'll say, oh, let me think about what I'm gonna eat all week. I don't think about what I'm going to eat all week. I just think about what I'm going to eat tomorrow based on
Mhm.
what I have available today. Like, what do I have in the fridge? Okay, I got some bread. I got some sandwich meat. I got some salad stuff. All right, looks like I'm having a salad for dinner, a sandwich for lunch. I got some oatmeal for breakfast. And I already know that. And so for me, I've been thinking that, like, I know what I'm eating tomorrow. I've been thinking about it for about 12 hours now because I know, so I got two salads left. I got some oatmeal. So I'm going to do that, two slices of bacon. But when you go ahead and think about it today, just what you're going to eat for tomorrow, that's going to help you stay on track. And then if you're planning ahead, obviously make the best choice you can. Like if you only have a frozen pizza at home, that's what's on your plan. That's okay. But you can't have the frozen pizza with the cookies also. So maybe the cookies go tomorrow. They don't go on the same day. You know what I'm saying? Like I had cookies today. I had 5 Nestle cookies. I planned on eating 3, but then I moved some stuff around, so I ate the other 2. They were so small, but I planned on eating them, and then I tracked it in my and I use my Fitness Pal food tracker, so I know how many calories I've had. Now that's getting a lot. Like sometimes it's hard to do that, but the app makes it easier. But when I see stuff in there, when I put the cookies in, and I know, oh dang, it's 90 calories for one cookie. So if I eat 5, I'm really like wilding out. Like that's a meal's worth of calories, and it's just 5 cookies, and it's not going to be as fulfilling. So I don't say, okay, I'm not going to have the cookies. I'm just not going to have, all 5, or I'll eat a serving size, which is like 1. So I'll allow myself to eat 2, meaning okay, you probably don't have that sandwich, with the bread or whatever. So it's not about not having anything at all, but not definitely having it all at once. So when you take some time, 10 minutes tonight or sometime out your day to say, okay, what I got in the kitchen. Okay. Or if you might need to go, or if you're door dashing something, whatever you're going to do, think about it ahead of time. Because then that's even gonna save you something. You're like, dang, I could DoorDash some Chipotle tomorrow. And this is $20 later. I think I'll make Chipotle at home. Like, just depending on where you're at with it, you might be able to do that day. But if it's not in the cards, then figure out what you can eat based on what you got at home, and just think about it today for tomorrow.
Indeed, because what I want to get back to for me is because most of the time, breakfast is the key center meal of the day. Because most time you can eat a hearty, healthy breakfast, and I can coast through the rest of the day and probably snack here and there, as opposed to I'm gonna eat the last supper at dinner time because I didn't eat breakfast. I have no lunch, so I'm trying to, what I'm saying, work on trying to stop doing that because, and of course, lack of inactivity. See, that's what people fail to realize for a person like me who is on the heavy side is it's not like I'm a my 600-pound life, everything DoorDash, everything handed to me. It's more lack of I'll eat and then I don't put any muscle activity after that to burn those calories back off.
Yeah,
you said something important too, though, because it's like that's that 2-part. Because we're not gonna out train a bad diet, and then but your body needs that food to feel like doing something. So you gotta start giving it some good energy so that hey, you do want to get up and walk. And once you start walking or exercising, then you're gonna be like, oh, well, I ain't gonna want to eat a donut. I just had a workout. I don't want to ruin that. And so it like starts to kind of build that momentum. It's like cyclical like that.
So, it's steady. Remind me to send you since we're talking about the fitness. My mother did an interview with a trainer recently who is in a wheelchair, right?
Okay.
And yeah, she's in a wheelchair. She got into an accident a few years back, but she's still working out. She's still helping people. She's still helping people train. She's still working. She's still putting in that work, man.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a great story. I got to talk to her after the recording, and honestly, she's got a great story, and she does great things. So I'll send you the link after the show before I forget.
I greatly appreciate it because that's the thing is I like to say this, right? For me, it's when you're battling with fitness, I feel like it should be like 70% mental and then the rest of the percentage should be your physical. Put it in your mindset that that's what you want to do. We make
Right.
we put out this whole thing every first of the year. Oh, it's time to join the gym and do all this. But now it then became a social media trend. Like it's good to look good on camera, but it's not good to look good for yourself to feel good about yourself. And I know, we mock celebrities and their weight transformations, and they look good, they're here, there, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes I just feel like it goes back to what you're saying about like self-love, self-care. Like, if you battling with loving yourself, then there's no way you're gonna go and get yourself dolled up, or go want to lose weight. Because some people get complacent and get comfortable. Hey, I've been big all my life, and I don't feel like I should have to put in the work. But speaking on my peoples, us from the ethnic side of things, as we get older, we become become more at risk, like heart disease and diabetes, and so
Mm-hmm.
forth and so forth. That's so detrimental to our health because nobody said, "Hey, what's that?" I'm probably got the worst Arnold Schwarzenegger. When Arnold be like, "Put that cookie down." We don't put
Right.
we still don't
Right.
want to put because I'm guilty of the other night. I ate like a whole, I'm gonna say 6 pack of some sugar cookies the
I
other
had some
night.
Oreos last night.
You feel me?
I had some Oreos last night.
Because
Clean. And you know how many
in my
Oreos in
feelings.
the serving size?
No, I
Two.
had
And
two.
whoever ate 2 Oreos in a sitting?
Nobody.
Oh, that's the thing. You know what? Okay. Can we talk about something real fast since we're talking about food?
Let's go.
All right.
Serving sizes in America is ridiculous. Okay, like it is honestly ridiculous how much, like, it's good food, sure, but you need to put that much, like for example, my girlfriend and I went on a date to this new restaurant that's like right by my apartment. Right, it's a halal spot, so they got a lot of like vegetables. They got lamb. They got all this they got all this great stuff, right? So
Mhm.
we order 2 gyros. So we order a chicken gyro and a lamb gyro, and they slathered it in that white sauce, and they gave us this big old bowl of rice, like this big old thing of rice. It was vegetable fried rice,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm looking at it like I needed to use a fork and knife for what I got because it was so big. It was
Yeah.
good, but big. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's not even just the food, which is already a battle in itself, but it's the portion sizes that get us too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said something right there for real. It's one thing about what we're eating, but we don't just eat a little bit of it. Like they literally, and it will make you feel like, okay, this is okay to have because they brought out this whole plate. They brought, it's this much on it, but you're
And that's
right.
just
Like
one
the
serving.
portions are massive. Like
That's just one serving. I remember going to the movies. Here's how when I started noticing it. When I went to the movies and I ordered a small soda when I was still drinking soda regularly, right?
mhm.
And the soda looked like the size of a baby's head, and it was a small. It was a
Yeah.
small.
Yep. Yeah, and that was a small.
That
Yeah,
was a
and
small.
that's the thing too. Half of the time, or shoot, I'm probably 9 times out of 10, what we're getting is more than a serving. Like in a bag of chips and a bottle of soda, everything you will look on there, and it'll say, serving size is 8 ounces, but then you've got 16 ounces, you got 32 ounces, and you finish
Yeah.
the whole thing. So now you really had 3 servings. So it's like they serve us way more than the serving size, and we eat way more than the serving size. Guess I gotta eat it.
Serving size.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, that's a
Man,
good point. We gotta pay attention to that.
this is why the potato salad is still a forgery. If you know, you know. Ladies
man,
and gentlemen, we're gonna
man.
take a quick commercial break, and we come back. We're gonna get into the question of the day before we wrap up this incredible interview. So be
All
back
right,
in a few. Time to pay some bills.
all right.
This episode of the podcast is proudly sponsored by Eventfully Yours, Sean. Your vision, your style, your event. Owner LaShawn, Sean Powell, brings your dreams to life with a wide variety of customizable event packages tailored to meet your every need. Whether it's an intimate gathering or a grand celebration, she's got you covered. For questions, quotes, or to start planning your next unforgettable event, email her at Sean@eventfullyyoursean.com. That's Eventfully Yours Sean, where your vision becomes your reality. All right, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to that podcast show that does everything that they don't. Y'all still tune in. live with you. You know that one podcast show. You know what I'm saying? Well, I was gonna say something. Get my joke. It was too insensitive. You know, you can't make jokes like you used to now. Because I really had some really good. I was gonna make it. It was like #1 podcast show that the blind love to see and the deaf love to listen to. But these days you say stuff like that and you have to deal with civil court matters.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Be up in arms, man.
Ah, the question of the day is: if your life had a soundtrack, what song would play during your biggest mistake?
Oof.
Oh man.
Oof.
Um, if your life was a soundtrack, what song would play during your biggest mistake? Uh, hmm. I don't know. This song comes to mind. It's from the Love and Basketball soundtrack, though. But it's the lady's like, "You made a fool of me. You made a fool of me. Tell me why." So I want, I won't dig into a story behind it, but that
Yes,
Love and
let's
Basketball sounds. The actual album would play during my life, but yeah, that song.
Kyle.
I gotta, you know what? I gotta think about that one.
Mm.
I gotta think about that one.
That's a good one, ain't it?
Yeah, I that's a great question, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question, bro. Real talk. I did not see that coming.
Right.
Yeah, man. I can't think right now. So many are going in my head.
Gonna give y'all mine.
What
I'm gonna
about
give
you?
y'all mine. I'm gonna give y'all Aaliyah try again.
Mm-hmm.
Try
If at
again.
first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try
Yeah.
again.
That crossed my mind too. That's a good one. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
baby, the mistakes I can make lately, you definitely got to try again.
Yeah.
It's
mm.
Hey,
between
that's
that
good with
and
fitness.
Otis Redding sitting at the dock of the bay. Because I promise you, if something go wrong, after I make a mistake, I quickly tell my speaker, "Hey, play Otis Redding sitting at the
True
dock of the
that.
bay," and I just
See.
reflect on my mistakes.
How about that? That will give you a reflection there. That is a good reflect song.
That's it. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
one.
Yeah, that's a
And
good call, cuz.
and big when you said biggest mistake, I'm like, which one? From but biggest mistake. That's the hard. Like that's the hard part. That's the hard part for me. Because I feel like the ones that I gave myself some time to actually heal from and learn from. So, and that took a long time to do because I used to be a really negative, self-deprecating kind of dude. Like I would try to be positive for everybody else but me.
Mm-hmm.
That would be that would be the that would be the theme for that. But I can't think of just one song.
Mm.
You know,
But
that was, but that was it. I can't think of a song. Dang it, that was really good. It stumped me, man.
I got an honorable mention of that. I know she probably don't remember. It was back during this era of where we used to hang out across the street and the trampoline was in here. Y'all remember when Santana Maria came out?
Yeah.
Like, yo, that memory will never escape. Like she used to sing it across the street, and then I think this one all our cousins used to get together and we just hang out. And she used to sing the song and she spit in the rocks. And for some reason, my cousins just grabbed her up as if they was for to pretend to dump her in the trash can. And I just remember that's what her mama had just pulled up and she was screaming. And they was like, look, whatever y'all doing over there is whatever y'all doing. Like, see, for me, music has a moment attached to it, and that will
yeah, it
forever be
does. It
solidified
does.
in my memory bank.
Maria.
Yeah.
Oh
She used to
man.
do that little Michael Jackson spit. It was just so funny. Like, it was because of her I actually learned how to get on the trampoline. Now that I remember that moment, because as long as some people stayed across the street, I would get on that trampoline to save my life. And this
Yeah.
one, she was like, "Nah, you getting on? I'm gonna help you." I was like, "All right." I got up there. Quick disclaimer: I can't stand metal trampolines to this day. That is probably why. You don't know the feeling of pain till you get shocked by a trampoline.
Hey, a trampoline, yeah, nah, them shocks, yeah. Yeah, it's like a dangerous toy for a kid, actually. Like, all that most dangerous plaything. And not just the shock, too. And you mess around and your foot go through the springs or whatever, between the thing. They ain't got no pad covering that thing up. Yeah. Trampolines are dangerous as heck.
I was at a trampoline park recently celebrating some birthdays because a few people in my family, I got siblings and some of their kids. All our birthdays are like really close together. So we decided to celebrate together, and we went to the trampoline park for the kids. And I told myself, yeah, I'm gonna jump. I need the exercise. They make you sign a waiver before you get before you get into the park, right? Just in case, right? So I'm trying to. I haven't been on a trampoline in years at this point, so I'm trying to hop like I'm freaking Super Mario. I can't do it. I can't do it, especially since I think I took my glasses off, right?
Oh.
And I'm nearsighted anyway. So you got kind of a recipe for disaster if you're not careful, because my nieces and nephews are all small, right? Mm-hmm. So they're jumping everywhere. My mom is on one side, my sister's on the other side. Their kids are all all around me, and I keep slipping, right? So I tried my best to jump. I told myself I was going to jump. It was worth it. I didn't do as much jumping as I wanted to, but but I'm glad I did.
Yeah. You got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Yo,
yeah. Even if it's been a while.
Absolutely. I did a segment episode about a week ago, and it was talking about facing my fears. And at that moment, it was when my co-host Glam, the dopest, who she's on a medical leave right now. But it was one of the moments where I'm used to saying, if my co-hosts or if a guest don't show up, ain't no sense of doing the show. But I did all this mass promotion behind it, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what? For me, I gotta learn how to be consistent with myself. Like, you can't be live with DJ Steady and company, and then you always mad because the company don't show up. Like, there's a whole, you got to be there first. So, just to piggyback on what Kyla said, it's like, I'm learning how to face my fears, even if I get uncomfortable. And mind you, I've been quoted as having a great speaking voice. And, according to my
good voice, man. I've been thinking that this whole time. Like, Stet's got a good voice. I didn't know if it was that microphone with them colors, if it's making you sound good, or what's going on.
He's got a nice radio voice.
He's got a nice voice. Yeah.
He's been working at it for years.
That's what's
up. Yo, next month is going to be a big celebration because I will be celebrating 5 years of podcasting. That's right. Mr. Who They Want has been on this mic for 5 years. Whether I've been in the front seat, the back seat, the passenger seat, I still been out here giving y'all great content. And you know what I'm saying? If you would like to support the show, or if you like to be booked as a guest, or if you like to have something submitted and we talk about it on our live, feel free to email us at steadycompanylive@gmail.com.
All right.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man.
We want to take this time to thank you for taking time out of your busy fitness schedule, busy teaching schedule, as the last few days of summer are drying up slowly but surely. Yes, I know it, but here I am.
It's all good, cuz.
Absolutely. So tell the people where they can find you, where they can find you if they want to get a consultation, be part of the Vitamin Fitness brand.
Oh yeah, you can find me in St. Louis rolling them dubs. No, I'm just you can find me on Instagram though at Vitamin Q Fitness, and Q Curry on Facebook. It's just shoot me a message, and if you want a consultation, we can talk. And both of y'all want to count on the same page with me. We know it's a mental thing. So if you want to talk to Coach Q, that's what we're going to be talking about. Like, I can send you a workout. You can Google a workout, but let's talk about what's going to make you want to do that. So hit me up on Instagram, Vitamin Q Fitness, or you can actually email me at q@itsjustwork.com. You can get me there too. I say it's just work. Don't let it overwhelm you. It's just work, man. And it's work for your body. Like, and y'all on the same page too. We're trying to be here, live long. So we got to guard our hearts. So everything that we do flows from our hearts. And so let's take care of our hearts, and that'll improve our quality of life, man. And I love you. I need you to survive, cousin. I'm so proud of you, man. Thank you for having me on your show. This is so cool. Who they want, and Kyle, it's nice to meet you, man.
Nice
So
to
I
meet you.
appreciate chopping it up with y'all guys today. This was really, really pleasant. It was my pleasure to be here.
I was super stoked about it, right? I talk about shooting shots. I was like, let me go shoot my shot. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw her do a wonderful, co-hosting job on a TNF, podcast they were speaking on a couple of Tuesdays ago. So it's like, oh, look at her. That way, a person ain't got camera shy. You be like, I see you do this. I know when you come to my network, I'm gonna try not to be so shy. I've been working on my shyness, so and be around people that you know and love. Kyle E, I thank you for
Absolutely.
volunteering your services. Y'all can catch
No
him
problem, bro.
weekly on the Beeline web show with my man Brian B. And of course, he still hosts A for Able, where they talk mental health, they talk disabilities, they talking about being A for Able. You know what
Okay,
I'm saying?
that's
And
what's
don't
up.
forget, he's gonna make his grand return back to his secondary podcast, Be On the Brain. If you
On the
want to talk
brain.
anime, if you want to talk movies, if you just want to talk all the nerdiest stuff you can ever talk about, then you want to get with my man on the brain. Salute to
Okay,
you, my brother.
Ah,
that's what's
man,
up.
yeah, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that, and thanks for having me back. Back on. Anytime you need a substitute co-host, I'm your man.
You feel me? And of course, y'all know I think y'all you can catch the show live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. And if you're not into all this technological stuff and you just want to listen to a good show, then find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and whatever you get your podcast fix. Just type in live with DJ Steady and Company. And I'm going to close the show with my favorite motto. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Good night, people.